Okay, so... Okay, let me change the title. There we go. So, okay, let's get started. You're playing a more, like, pokey composition, which means that, well, like, you have an Orisa, they have Rhine, and the DPS are, like, identical. So, what your team wants to do, probably, is they just want to, like, basically, like, set up near the choke and set up positions, like, to look to just spam them out. They just want to like spam them out before like pushing on the point. So if you want to be like useful in this like composition, you have to be doing quite a lot of damage because you realize that Orisa like does not really need as much heals as Rhine. Their bat will need to like keep this Rhine up like at all times, but Orisa doesn't really take that much damage compared to Rhine. So you should be like looking to DPS more. Um, no, you don't want to jump and peek 1v6. Even though they're not running any snipers, they're still running mid-range heroes that can burst you down. You don't want to like use jump like this. Wait until your team is pushed in. Like pushed in a bit. Okay. Don't use the jump so much. There's no need. I don't like you positioning here. So use your jump and position maybe here. I'd say like around here. You can like use the bush to like kind of look to break the shield. You can even take an angle if you're feeling aggressive. Like for example, you can take the angle here and look to spam them out from here. And you can still heal your team, but you'll be safer. You won't be like in the middle of their like firing line. Like if you're standing right here, like here you have cover, but if you peek here, then look at how many enemies you're being exposed to. You have one, you have Junkrat, you have Bap, you have well, this isn't Junkrat, this is okay. Hide chat. Okay, let me hide chat first. Sorry. But you don't want to be standing like in the middle of like 3 or 4 enemies, especially when your teammates are still like kind of playing passive. So position here, position safer, and be in a position where you can both do damage and heal your team. And in any case, your Mercy should be healing DPS. So, okay, let me go back. And there's no need to use the regen burst. No need. It's so the thing with burst is like regen burst is that like in ladder, especially, it's mainly for you. Like it's mainly for you to heal yourself, and that's because the regen burst actually doesn't do that much healing. Like sure, if you're playing like a comp that's really grouped up, then it can get a lot of value, like in messy mid fights, but in this case, like, your Orisa's safe. Your Orisa's pretty safe. If your Orisa doesn't want to die, she'll, like, pivot to here, and there's nobody that can shoot her. So, there's no need to use regen burst. Just use right clicks. And you should be weaving shots. You don't just want to be a heal bot. Like, you see, like, how much pressure you could be doing to this Rhine? This Rhine is like standing in the open with a shield. This Ryan is just like offering a firing platform for his team. He should be playing Orisa if he wants to do that, like at least. But this is so easy. This is so easy to break. You can just be up here, and you can weave, shoot, and this shield would have been like cracked. So like you're missing out on so much damage. You need to be doing damage as Bap. Otherwise, like go something like Moira, which would be more appropriate for being a heal bot. And no, you don't want to be stacking like this. You don't want to be standing a choke. Use the high ground. Don't you in the grasp. And okay, again, why aren't you weaving? Why aren't you weaving? You need to be shooting a heal at the ground and then left clicking twice and then shooting the heal at the ground. You can do that unless like you absolutely need to have maximum heals. Like you can at least get like one like burst of damage before having to before like your heal comes back. Like you can right click again when you after you use heal. And no, that's... You don't use regen burst like that. Okay. Right here. Hey, you punish the feeding Rhine. Like, this is how much damage you do. This is how much damage you're missing out on. Your DPS isn't there. That was early. That was early. You needed to wait until... Well, your Junkrat's there. Well, where's your Kree? Where's your Kree? Sure. Sure, that being said, like, you shouldn't be standing here. Even though there's a window, you should not be standing here. You should be, like, if you're in VC, you should be, like, in all likelihood, telling your Orisa to, like, push onto point. But, no, you don't want to stand, like, next to 3 or 4 enemies spamming you. You want to be on high ground.
Get them off me.
Okay, good. You're on high ground.
Regen up.
Good. Good. Keep doing damage and weave your healing and damage. Why do you drop? You didn't need to drop here. You could like perfectly apply like the Immor, and you could use this position. This position's pretty good until like they actually shoot at you, and they're not. They're not even paying attention to you. So, well, maybe this Kree is, but not the rest. Like you can use this like statue to hide. So like you're better off just standing here, heal, heal. Not, I mean like heal, shoot, shoot, heal, shoot, shoot, and you'll be applying a lot of pressure to the enemy. But right here, you're just like you're dropping, and like now your vision of the fight is worse. You can't shoot the squishies anymore. You're forced to shoot the Rhine shield, which your Orisa already has like covered. So like you don't want to be like on the ground like this. You want to be like elevated somewhat, so at least you can do some damage to the enemy squishies. And when you do damage to the enemy squishies, that's what forces abilities from the enemy. Back, back. You don't want to be next to Rhine like this. Back. Okay, and you could go up to here. You could go up to here and you could shoot the Ana, who's poorly positioned to an extent. You could shoot the Seg. You could even shoot the Rhine. And like from another angle, you could get easier headshots. But right here, you're just stacking main and you're not really doing much from this position. You need to be like in positions where you can effectively do damage. And yeah, that's why you don't want to stand next to your team like this. The best counter to Shatter is good positioning. Okay. Back, back, back. No, don't regen burst.
Let them up.
Unless you're low or like 3 or 4 enemies on your, like 3 or 4 teammates on your team, like around is low, then you don't want to use like left shift. You want to save it either for you to get healed or save it for emergencies. Right here was definitely not an emergency. If they want to avoid damage, they'll just hide behind this cover, hopefully. And in any case, your regen burst isn't even that good for healing anyone but yourself. Okay, so you're trying to spam through that window. I still would not stand here. Even though they are backing up. You're going to take a lot of poke.
Onwards to victory.
Okay, now your team's walking on point. You want to be rotating with them. You want to rotate here and potentially position on this high ground. No, you don't want to be close. They're really good at damaging you mid-range. You don't want to be like next to Sigma. Sigma could like direct you twice and you'll be at 50 HP. Instead, why not stand? So there is a Kree high nooning, concerning, but you could stand maybe next to your shield. You could like position high ground, even though it would be a bit vulnerable. But if the Kree is high nooning, then you can just drop here and get back up to here. And in any case, like you could take 1 or 2 shots and force the Kree to rush to high noon. So like from here, you'd be much more effective. You can heal your team, you can heal the players on point. Orisa should be up there, but you can shoot anyone here, and you can get headshots, easy headshots. You can kill the backline. You can shoot the Kree. A lot of good stuff if you position here, but you don't want to be positioning here where the Kree can just like shoot at you for free, where like they can just shoot at you for free. You need to be using high ground, and you need to be considering their range. And because you're stuck in the middle, you're forced to use him more early. The Kree's low. The Kree's low. And yeah, you don't want to be in the fight. You want to be like at a respectable range. No, don't stagger. Don't stagger. Don't stagger. Thank God.
Fully healed.
You need to heal your Reaper. Fine, he's wraithing out. He has Wraith. Yeah. So, again, if you want to break the choke, then the best way to help your team break the choke is to position high ground. If you get, like, bursted down, then either your Mercy heals you, or you can use left shift to help sustain yourself. But you're better off in this position, where, like, you can heal your team and you can do damage. The best way to break this choke, especially if they're holding right here, which is actually really bad, because, like, look at this position. Look at what you can do to their backline. You can shoot at them for free. Like, you can heal them, and then you can take 2 or 3 shots, and you're gonna, like, bring, like, their BAP or their Ana to, like, low HP. You can force them to use abilities just to survive. There's so much you can do from that high ground. You're just not utilizing it. This high ground is okay, but I like taking a slight angle so you can kind of at least split like the attention a bit. At least you can like do a bit more damage from that position.
Team up for special attack.
Remember, your team's playing like a more poke-oriented strategy. They want to poke out the enemy, so you need to be doing more damage. And you should be weaving here. Okay, no. You don't stand mid-range against like a mid-range comp.
30 seconds remaining. Onwards to victory.
Jump up here. Yeah, just jump up here. You could even rotate to here. Like, your team has taken all the space. You can position anywhere. You can position here. You can even position here. This would be really good. And from here, you could look to maybe try to pivot and punish the Rhine, who's feeding. Or you can shoot, like the backline. This BAP is 1 HP, basically, so you could have even killed the BAP. Like, there's so much offensive output you're missing out on because you're not positioning properly. And no, don't stand here. Don't stand here. You don't want to be, like, next to Rhine like this. You don't want to be next to Junkrat. You don't want to be next to Kree. This is, like, optimal distance for both Junkrat and Kree. You want to be here. And you can shoot the backline. You can take cover if needed. You can focus on healing your team by going here. Or you could go for aggressive, like, shots by going here. Or even you could pivot to here. That's fine. Or, like, even here, if you're feeling, like, bold. And this would be good because who can reach you except for Junkrat? But you just need to be, like, recognizing you have so much offensive potential, but you're just standing next to the enemy. So, like, it's hard. Look at how difficult it is. Look at how difficult.
Get in here. Let them out.
Like, it's difficult to do damage when you're standing in positions where they're optimal. Where they're, like, really good at. They're really good at damaging you at mid-range, so you don't want to be positioning mid-range. You want to be, like, a bit further. Okay, take the point, I guess. You'll be pushing hard. Well, Orisa, probably Orisa. Your team's playing much more long range. So
You're going to be fine.
you didn't need to burst. You can just right click. Your team was not taking that much damage. And you need to be weaving. You can't just heal bot. Click once. Like this. Right click, left click, left click. Right click, left click, left click. Right click, left click, left click. That's how you weave. Like, you could be shooting the Rhine, and this Rhine could have been critical. Or you could have been, like, saying, hey, like, my team has just placed a fresh... My Orisa has just placed a fresh shield. I might even look to exo. I don't know. I think it's possible, but might even look to go up here and look to like pummel the backline, who is positioned like kind of mispositioned because they should really be positioned like over here. But okay, no, the wrong bat. Okay, use one more. You don't want back. Thank you. Weave. You need to weave. Okay, at least you're standing at the right range, but you need to be weaving. Like, this Ryan's just swinging. And he's not getting punished. He should be getting punished. No Ryan should be allowed to swing for 10-15 seconds at nothing and still, like, succeed. Kind of risky. You don't want to be at that range against Sigma. But, hey, at least you're using your weapon. At least you're using your primary fire. Like, see how much damage you do. Like, this, like, sure, they're Junkrat spam, but you're helping break the shield really fast. Okay, but you want it back. You don't want to be here. You want to, like, play here, or you could even exo up to here. And, you could shoot. You could shoot the Kree, and the Kree will have a harder time hitting you because you're on high ground, technically. You could shoot the Bap and put a lot of pressure on him. And if they decide to pop High Noon, you just look to, like, drop, and your Diva should DM it. But your Diva should probably, like, maybe help you up there. But you don't want to be at mid-range. You don't... The enemy should be shooting you and punishing you. Okay. So now, as you can see, you can start positioning up here. That's fine. They aren't running any snipers. They aren't really good at long range, so you can position up here. You can heal your Diva, help her sustain this angle, but you can just keep shooting. You can just keep shooting, spamming them as they're trying to cross as they're trying to, like, stall. And, like, the more pressure you put on them as they're coming out and trying to stall the cart, the more likely your team is gonna win. So, like, winning the fight starts now. The earlier you help your team win, the more likely they are going to win. I don't like being on the ground against Junkrat, even though he isn't under really good. Even though this isn't a really good choke. So you decide to pop the the window. Sure, it's a reasonable attempt to kill the Bat. Back, or boot up to here. High ground. Play here. You could still shoot the junk, and you actually have a good angle. This thing isn't blocking. Or you could drop to here if needed. Or you could heal your team. Or you could still even heal your Reaper. Like, you could rotate to here and shoot the Ana and also heal your Reaper. Like, there's so much, like, attacking output, again, like, that you're missing out on. Okay, you killed the Ryan. Good. Help your team clear the Kree. Where's the Kree? Like, if you were positioned on high ground, like, sure, that you might be worried about the Kree, but in all likelihood, the Kree would be exiting, not even seeing you, and you're gonna get at least one, like, burst of damage on him, which would get him to reconsider actually even being on this high ground. So you could have preempted, like, that high noon from happening. Doesn't matter, though, your team has taken the point. Second point. Okay. Play here. That's just good cover. You could rotate to here to get, like, some shots, or you could pivot back to here to get, like, some good heals on your team. Oh, you need to be weaving. Don't just heal bot. Weave. Okay, I'll show you, like, how it works, but after,
Tried your best.
And the reason you want to be here, like, at first at least, is just so you can hide from this window. You could take this more conservative angle to heal your team. And, like, once the window's over, you can go here and you can exo up to here. And this is really good offensive output. You still have to mind a hog hook at this because he switched to hog instead of brine, but you can, once a hog has used hook, then you're basically free to shoot up, shoot, help your Diva, shoot. So that's how you should be thinking this fight. You should be looking to exo up to there. But you don't want to be standing at mid-range. This is an even better mid-range comp now than before. Because they're running Bastion, which is a mid-range hero. They're running Hog, which is also a mid-range hero. Okay, they failed the res. Don't stagger, don't stagger. 4v6, 4v6, don't stagger. Don't stagger, please. Like, a better team would punish you. Absolutely. Okay, start on the high ground. You can jump up to high ground, and then you can rotate to... No, I do not like standing next to Bastion. Don't stand, like, this close to Bastion. A Bastion should be shooting you right now. And as you can see, like, look at how much mid-range spam you're taking. You already used your left shift, but you're still already 62 HP. Okay, you got your HP back.
I'm on fire.
Okay, up to high ground. Up to high ground. Shoot the Ana who's being dumb. Okay. I don't like you standing next to a hog in the open like this. This hog's gonna hook you. Like if he hits, like better positions would be right here or high ground right here. And if you want to shoot the hog, you can kind of jiggle peek. You could even go right here and still have a bit of cover to use. But you're standing in the open. There is a bongo, but you're standing in the open. The bongo's a bait.
Let them up.
Okay.
Into position.
Okay, so the best position right now would probably be maybe up here. From up here, like, since they still aren't running snipers, and this SIG still has a bit of distance to cover before he can clear you out, you stand right here, you can shoot the SIG, you can shoot the SIG shield, you can still heal your team, you can shoot here. You have a lot of options here. They have nothing to really deal with you. You could also play here to help shoot the Bastion, to help your team deal with the Bastion, and you're actually, like, in a better position to deal with the Bastion here. So... Or, like, if you stand here, you can still kind of, like, look to peek the Bastion, even though the angle's kind of stuff. But, let's take a look. I don't like you being on the floor. No! No! Don't stand next to Junkrat like this.
30 seconds.
No!
10 seconds.
Push forward. It's not over yet. Payload stopped. Not exactly.
Yeah, you have to touch. That's fine. Okay, let's take a look at the next round. So now your team is running a Bastion bunker.
Ready for battle.
Still, like, your team has a poke advantage, so you're gonna be helping your team, like, with that. You wanna, like, shoot more.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Got you good as new.
Okay. Given their comp, you don't know if they're running Widow yet, so you want to be cautious positioning here. Now you don't know they're running Widow, so you can kind of stand here at first. Then look to rotate to right here. And you need to be weaving. This Ryan isn't clearing the high ground. This Ryan isn't clearing you. You should be punishing him for that. You should be like saying, hey, Ryan, you're separated from your supports. Your supports are still at choke while you're just doing dumb shit like this. So what do? You just shoot the Ryan in the head, like, and then half his HP is gone in a couple seconds. And that's really good for your team because then it means your Orisa can push the Ryan and your team will basically win the fight, I think. No ultimates they have to work with. No, don't drop. You don't need to drop there. Okay? You need to be weaving. Back to high ground, back to high ground. High ground. Don't use your shield as a firing platform. High ground. And as you can see, since you're not on high ground, you can't really see things. You can't really see who on your team needs help, so... You need to be, if you're here, then you can have a lot of options. So they switch to hog, so if you see the hog, then you're going to have to, like, rotate to maybe here, or you might even think, hey, like, I might have to drop. But, like, even if you have to drop, then at least you can see, like, where your team's positioned. Like, you need to be starting on high ground at the very least. Okay, sure. Okay, your team's backing up. Now maybe Exo up to here, I guess. We can, if you play here, then as they're pushing onto your team, as the Hog and Sigma are pushing, then you can punish them from the side. You can create like an off angle, or like you can even go here, and you can still create the same off angle, and you're gonna have better access to like the rest. You can try to punish this junk as well, but you need to be in a position where you can use your primary fire. Okay, good. You don't want to be standing there. You want to be tucking here, or you want to be playing like here, at least at longer ranges. Like your Rissa's gonna probably screwed. Your Rissa's probably screwed. Let's be honest. Oh, she's still holding the line. No, cover, reload, cover.
Objective lost.
Okay, back. Thank you. Okay, back, and then take the high ground here. Like if anything, you can't really shoot anything from here, but at least you're safe. At least you're safer against like that flux, and you won't just get shot. You don't want to be this close. This is a mid-range comp. Back. It's a nano Sigma. Back. Sigma should have shot you like twice. Okay. Fine.
Maintain that positive.
Group up at my position.
So the same drill. Look for a high ground position there.
Let them up.
If you want to pop the window, you go here. You spend a minimum amount of time peeking this, and then you go back to cover. Oh, what's the ammo for?
Need healing.
You could perfectly, like, well, since your team is pushing, sure. Okay, you should shoot twice when you weave. You don't need to keep spamming heals as they're not taking too much damage. Good. At least for until like the bastion set up. No, but you need to back now. Back. Hey, just die on cart. Don't stagger yourself. Or back up. Die on cart is probably best. No, stagger. Oh, how did they let you survive? How? How did they let you live? Okay, so you're kind of stuck here. Your best bet is to position on this high ground, or even just hide, and then when your team's pushing up, you can look to shoot from this angle and prevent them from pushing any further. Prevent, like, their team from pushing any further, I mean. Or you're gonna make this risky rotation. Safest way would be to go this way, and your team's regrouping anyways. They shouldn't really be peeking thus.
Thanks.
And you need to be using cover. You need to be going here.
Let them out. Not you good as new.
Okay, fine. What's the, I guess, Baby Diva? Shoot! But... Okay, fine, your Diva should have marked that. Even though you probably should have stayed high ground, to be honest. Okay, regroup. Your team's regrouping. Don't peek. Don't peek. Don't.
Get in here.
Hey, you're on a staggering. Don't stagger with her.
Now, get in the immortality field.
You should position here. Like, at first, you could do some long-range poke to the Sigma and make him think, like, twice about, like, just pressing W into your team. Hey, I guess this high ground's fine. It's a bit risky because they're mid-range. They're really good mid-range, but at least you're, like, using your weapon. At least you're using your weapon. High ground, high ground, high ground. You need to be able to see the battlefield. And... Okay, let me see. Let me try. Wait, why do you drop and use, like, regen burst there? You should really, like, like, in terms of cooldown usage, your lamp usage, is... can be improved, but your left shift usage really needs to be the first priority. Like, if you want to know how to use your abilities right. And, like, you should be staying up here. Like, you drop with, like, 200 HP, and then you keep shooting the Bastion. Like, and then, like, you see the Bastion doesn't have any protection. The Bastion's, like, kind of, like, break, like, the Bastion's their front line. Why aren't you punishing that? You can even, like, hit this, like, hitbox, like, this head hitbox from, like, that high ground. And that would be pretty good. And I think, yeah, as far as I know, the head hitbox on Bastion when in Sentry form is behind. You should probably be positioning here. Remember, you don't want to be mid-range. Your Rissa's a mid-range hero, but you're not, like, going to want to position against them at mid-range like that. So, yeah. Okay, anyways, let me tell you what I mean by the weaving. Okay, where's the training range? There we go. So you need to be doing this. Okay, let me choose BAP. You need to be, like,
No dying.
shooting them twice and then...
No wasted.
And you need to be practicing this. So go into the practice range, pick BAP, and just practice shooting these training bots. My aim isn't the best, but you get the idea. But you just need to be doing this more often. And if your team needs heals, then sure, you can just do one shot, but
Have you considered a different line of work?
Double kill.
you need to be doing, like, this more often. Way more often.
Double kill.
And you need to be practicing flex as well. Flicking is a very important skill when it comes to mechanics on BAP. And, like, if you want to be very, like, most effective, then you need to master flicking. You need to master saying, hey, my teammate's behind, and I should be on high ground, so I'm gonna shoot them twice, flick, shoot them twice. Like, my flicking isn't the
I
best.
don't think you're going to make it.
But I'm a coach, so career coach, as I like to say. But yeah, you just need to be doing this. And you just practice this like 5 or 10 minutes a day to get much better. And like you can do much more with BAP. You can be on this angle. You can be like on a high ground angle. You can heal your team. You can like, oh, free. Let's say this is an Ana. You're dead. Let's say this is a BAP. You're dead. Let's say this is a Rhine. How, you think you're alpha? No. And you can even use your window if you get a good position to like just one shot.
Let them out.
200 HP squishy, basically. If you hit enough shots, that is. Like you could do, I think these bots are 200 HP. Like, okay, that was a failure, but whatever. But yeah, you just need to be mastering this mechanic. This is like the most fundamental mechanic on BAP. It's literally this: 2 shots, 1 heal. 2 shots, 1 heal. 2 shots, 1 heal. 2 shots, 1
I call
heal.
that a professional courtesy.
And if you watch any like BAPs on Twitch, like real professional level ones, they do this really well. Better, much better than me. Like this. So yeah, anyways, I hope that was helpful.